Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name is Stone Rain Productions, but please feel free to call me SRP if you'd like. And today I wanted to bring in a deck that I have liked for quite a while. And it plays kind of more like a control deck, and that is Double Red Mace. And let's jump in and take a look here. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because it's not like a super really great deck or anything. It's more for fun, and it's a very controlling shell regardless of how much units and stuff you see in here. So just want to kind of go over everything and discuss this. So what do we get for our leader? We've got Mace Windu, who has an action of we can pay 1 and exhaust him and deal 1 damage to a damaged enemy unit that has, then if it has 5 or more damage on it, deal another damage to it. And it flips on 7. When it flips, it's a 5/8. It deals 2 damage to all already damaged units. And apologies, this is supposed to be Tarkintown. So you can ignore this, it's supposed to be Tarkintown. I put the wrong one in the image here, but I figure I'd go over everything and just explain what's going on. I've got 3 copies of Daring Raid. Just easy way to get 2 damage onto something so we can Tarkintown it away. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the image here. I think I just imported the wrong thing. But anyway, 2 damage to a unit or a base. It can finish the game off. I did go with 1 copy of Restock in the main just because sometimes we just want to get our removal stuff back into the deck. It's really not necessary. Again, this is kind of more of a meme deck, so if you're playing this seriously, I would find another deck. This is really just for fun. It does have some good aspects to it, though. I've got 3 copies of the Double Red Bo-Katan, which works with this because we happen to be double red. This is 2 cost 3/3, and when Bo is defeated, for each player with 15 or more damage on their base, you get to draw a card. Surprisingly, this comes up quite a bit, so I like this unit. It's a good 3 cost unit, and we get to draw a card off of it pretty regularly. I've got 3 copies of Grenade Strike, which is pretty phenomenal with Mace. 2 cost event, deal 2 damage to a unit, then you may deal 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. Pretty self-explanatory with Mace, just getting damage in, and we can finish it off with either Mace or Tarkintown. Same thing with its counterpart Shoot Down here. We've got 2 copies, 3 damage to a space unit, and if that unit is defeated in this way, you get to deal 2 damage to a base. You notice in a trend, it's just a lot of damage to units. Pretty much is what we're looking for. 3 copies of Cassian because it's a good way to get in last points of damage if we need to out of the smuggle roll. It's a 3 cost 3/5, and it's got a 5 for smuggle, including the aggression heroism. And when played, if we've smuggled it out, it comes into play ready, which is pretty great. Another card that's been really great from set 6 is Let's Call It War, which is kind of a souped up Grenade Strike. 3 cost event, deal 3 damage to a unit. Then if you have the initiative, you may deal 2 damage to another unit in the same arena. Very, very good with Mace. Definitely like this quite a bit. 3 copies of Open Fire, pretty classic. 3 cost event, deal 4 damage to a unit. I added in Moral Authority pretty recently, and I like this because we want a way to finish the game pretty quickly once we switch gears and get into combat. It's a 3 cost upgrade attached to a unique unit, and when played we get to capture an enemy non-leader unit with less remaining hit points than it. So remember this because when I first started playing this, I completely did not read the card and ignored that, and I was like, oh, whoops. But +2/+0, we have to make sure that we've got more hit points on our unique leader than the thing that we want to capture with this, and the extra attack power does come in pretty handy. We're running 2 copies of Cham for the ramp decks, so this will kind of allow us to catch up with anybody that is ramping. Those green decks, Vilni especially, but it's a 4 cost 5/4. When played, and if an opponent controls more resources than you do, you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. Pretty straightforward. Plus it's a 5/4, it's pretty nice. We've got 3 copies of K2. Great card from set 1, 4 cost, 4/4 Overwhelm. When defeated, each opponent chooses, for each opponent, choose one. Either deal 3 damage to that player's base, or that player discards a card from their hand. Most of the time, it's going to be the damage with him. Since we're running double red, we're running 3 copies of Aggression, where we can pay 4 for this, which is really nice because we don't have to worry about paying 6 because we're just in double red. Choose 2 in any order, draw a card, defeat up to 2 upgrades, which is very useful nowadays. Ready a unit with 3 or less power and deal 4 damage to a unit. There's quite a few units that this can get readied up with here, but primarily from what I've done, it's either 4 damage and destroy 2 upgrades, or draw a card and defeat 2 upgrades, or a combination of the 4 damage, some of those things there. Got a little bit of main deck discard with Luthen's Holcraft, 5 cost, 5/3 in space. When defeated, you may choose an opponent and disclose aggression, heroism. If you do, an opponent discards 2 cards from their hand. We've got a lot of that. However, I do want to point out there's not a lot of cards that have heroism, so you're going to have to be careful if you want to play this with the cards that you're resourcing and the cards that you keep in your hand. If you notice, there's not a lot of cards that are both aggression and heroism in here, so just be mindful when you play this card. Bombing Run is great with Mace because we want to defeat units anyway. We get to choose an arena and deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena, costs 5. Same with Topple the Summit, except this has plot. When we deploy our mace, which I did not discuss, deploys on 7, is going to deal 3 damage to each damaged unit, which is pretty good with what we're doing. We're going to be dealing lots of damage anyway. 3 copies of Wild Rancor, 6 cost, 6/8 with Overwhelm. It's one of our finishers, but it's primarily played for the effect. When played, deal 2 damage to each other ground unit, which is pretty good, considering we're primarily ground-based deck. This is the only deck that actually can really successfully play a limited power, which is not a great card, but it's okay in this. For a 6 cost, we get to deal 4 damage to a unit, then 3 damage to a second unit, 2 damage to a third, and 1 damage to a 4th unit. It's pretty cool with Mace because we can finish off pretty much everything else with Mace Pings or when we deploy our Mace, so pretty cool card. Just in this deck. Don't get me wrong, the card's awful. But it's good in this deck. What's okay in this deck, I should say. 2 copies of Mace proper from set 1, 7 cost, 5/7 ambush. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you get to ready him. Works great with his own leader. And running out, we've got 2 copies of Crate Dragon. And in the side, we've got 2 copies of Grey Squadron Y-Wing. This is, I initially had this in the main, but it's just a little bit too slow. It does everything that we want to do with Mace, honestly, but we need to have things to take out units on to be able to be played right away. And same thing with the Warrior of Clan Ordo. Grey Squadron Y-Wing is not a good card, except it's good in Mace, or it's at least decent. 2 cost, 1/3. On attack, an opponent chooses a unit or base they control. You may deal 2 damage to it. So it's just another way to get damage onto something with this, and then deal damage with Mace afterwards. 2 copies of Warrior of Clan Ordo. This is we're pretty much always going to be able to disclose the aggression with this. You can put this in if you'd like. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough control early game to play. We've also got our 3rd copy of Moral Authority in here to capture things. This is more against mid-range type of decks. 3rd copy of Cham to keep up with Ramp, and 3 copies of Pillage, take out control primarily. Between the K2, the Luthen Soulcraft, and the Pillage itself, we should be able to get most control decks pretty light on cards pretty quickly with this. So yeah, I just wanted to drop this in, and Also, if you're interested, I did make a Star Wars Unlimited song. It's like a minute and change. I'm going to put it at the end of this video, so feel free to watch it. It's going to be immediately after this. So I'm going to put that in as soon as I stop talking. Just wanted to ask if you could like and subscribe. Definitely helps me out quite a bit. And I did want to say thanks again for your support. I appreciate it. May the Force be with you, friends. And I hope you're well. And I hope you enjoy the song. It's something I made with AI, so take care, everybody. Be well.
Play Star Wars Unlimited. If you haven't done so, you'll be glad you did. Star Wars Unlimited. You can have some fun with just about anyone. Join us and play some SWU. Play as your favorite Star Wars character. SWU. You can be an adventurer. Fly in a ship or fight on the ground. A winner, you can be crowned. Play Star Wars Unlimited. SWU. Soon the Force will be with you.